with us and making the time. And when we started conversing with you earlier, we were talking about the province KwaZulu-Natal, but just to get a fuller picture of the country. In an article today titled "The Silent Majority: Who Will Represent the Non-Voters," Mikhail Musa argues that because of the big number of people who didn't turn up and the big number of South Africans who are not registering to vote, maybe our democracy is now not so representative. Do you agree with him?
I missed the first part, Desiree.
I was just mentioning an article that was written today by Mikhail Musa. The article is titled "The Silent Majority: Who Will Represent the Non-Voters." He's talking about the low numbers of turnouts. But he argues in this that the low voter turnout combined with the rising number of unregistered voters suggests that our democracy is becoming increasingly unrepresentative. Your thoughts about this, Prof?
No, absolutely. It's becoming unrepresentative, but then the question is, who is to blame for that? And from here I'm standing, there is no individual culprit. Politicians are to blame because when they are afforded an opportunity to lead the electorate, they do something else and they don't deliver services. And that leads to people not registering to vote, or even if they are registered, they don't vote on election day. So that is one of the culprits. But then also the electorate cannot be exonerated for this, because if you are not happy about your current leadership, first of all, we have to register. And then after that, we have to vote on election day. What normally happens is that there are people who are engulfed by anger and they decide not to register. But then on the eve of the election, when the IEC has already closed their registration, they then decide they want to vote. Some of them will find that on election day, they want to try their luck and go to the voting stations. The reality is you will not be allowed to vote because you are not registered, full stop. So I think that it's high time that before any election, in fact long before an election, there should be political education. And that political education should be focused on different constituencies. 1, political leaders. 2, members of political parties, and then 3, the general public, so that all the role players could read from the same script. This thing of invoking Chapter 2 of the Constitution when we feel it is convenient and say, I have rights, does not help us as a country, and it also doesn't assist our efforts towards democratic consolidation. Of course, we have a right not to vote, we have a right not to register, but then what happens once someone has been elected? Because if there is a low voter turnout, it then affects service delivery directly or indirectly. So I think it's a cause for concern. We should worry, all of us, and not just politicians alone, but the entire nation as a whole.
Prof, let's thank you so much for your time this morning. Let's take you now to the Free State.